All right. Hello, everybody. Kubernetes Production Readiness sub-project meeting for September 20th. Great. Let's get started. Share this window. Okay. So just to be, before we jump into your item here, Sergey, who I assume is here. Yeah. So enhancements freeze is in about roughly a little over 2 weeks. I guess almost 3 weeks. But we have a soft freeze before that. So the next couple weeks should get busy. I know, Wojciech, you said you went through and assigned ones that are existing. I didn't look at the board yet, but I'll try to do that probably tomorrow. And let's see, looking at who we have here. I'll try to follow up with Joe and Andrew and Ben, but I don't think they're going to be involved a lot this cycle. But thank you all for confirming. I think we'll use the same process as last time, which is that Shadow should sign up for things same as approvers on the board. I should make sure that the board I'll do it afterwards. I was supposed to do it last week or 2 weeks ago, but I'll do it afterwards. I'll make sure that the board has the confirmed reviewers on them. And yeah, and I think most of us should have edit privileges to it anyway. If you don't see your name there, try and add it, but I'll try to add it today anyway. So we'd like to see a review by the shadows before the approver comes in and reviews. So just tag us when it's time for that, or reach out on Slack. And yeah, if you have any questions while you do it. Yeah, I just have to Google it. Just in the projects. I think it's in the enhancements project. Okay. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way. I think you just really. Why do they make my life so difficult? Project here. It's either there. I'm confused. There should be. Thank you.
I pasted. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. There should be more. I was in with the other. Or, well, I guess no, I haven't been in today. The 129. I thought I did, but maybe not. All right, thank you. So we can add that to the agenda doc, I guess would be the point. Sorry, I don't know why my internet's so slow today, or my machine. Anyway, anything else? Should we jump into the agenda item that Sergey has here?
Yeah, and I want to be open here. It's a little bit of hijack of a conversation because it's not directly PR related. So the questions I had is, about the process of managing caps, and maybe anybody here has some good practices. So first is about renaming of like changing the issues. Well, I guess I create them in different order. So first one is about issues, filing issues for. Uh, uh, sorry, I was lost in
So
between the tabs. So first is about creating labels for cap issues. So we have few caps that are very big, sidecar, for instance, and in place VPA. We may have more like memory chaos that has a lot of things that needs to be addressed, and we have a lot of issues filed in KK repository, some bugs filed in KK repository, and it's really hard to query all of those bugs and or have some way to see them all together. Um, like different caps using different strategies. Like for instance, last release for sidecars, I created umbrella issue on KK and tried to list catch up with all the issues and PRs that we have for the cap, but it wasn't quite easy. So we asking if there are any objections of proposing the label cap slash something like maybe enhancement name or site or feature gate name. We can do it for two caps for now, but then we can have it as a best practice for everybody. And I guess one
so
question
let
for
me ask. I'm not sure I followed it. So well, there's two things. One is there is actually an enhancement subproject. I think Jeremy is Jeremy here. Let me see. He was, I think, in that one of the people leading that subproject. I don't see him. I thought I saw him on here, but so we might need to bring it to that group because they're the ones who manage that process. But is what you're saying you want to add a label so that we easily tie given PRs back to the cap, or am I misunderstanding?
PRs and issues. Yeah. So for
Yeah,
PR specifically, how would one know that there is no bugs for this cap currently being
I
active?
know it's a huge pain, right? Even just I want to review the PRs in the enhancements repo associated with this cap it's not that easy to find. You have to like sometimes dig around a lot. And the enhancements team last cycle, or maybe the last two cycles, would come through and make a check and they would list the any PRs that are associated in the enhancements repo with that cap. That was useful for me. That was super useful. They also sometimes list the issues in KK or wherever, rather the PRs in KK or wherever that are associated with the cap, but it's not in any way discoverable or manageable. So I would be very supportive of that. I just worry about being able to maintain it without tooling. If we rely on humans to do it, humans aren't very good at it. That's my only concern.
Okay. Yeah, and every time I review something that's about to go to GA or beta, less for beta, for GA for sure, I search very extensively all the KK issues, trying to find
Right.
any problems with that, which is very hard sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would do, Sergey, is there's another sub project that's part of SIG architecture called enhancements.
Mhm.
The whole CAP process, they own that whole thing. So I think technically I might still be a sub project manager on that, but I haven't attended for a year. So I don't think that's fair to consider me one. I mean, I should take myself off that list. But we can see who that
Yeah,
is right
okay, I
now.
will dig it up.
Okay.
As I said, I'm
Yeah.
hijacking a little bit because I want to try to fix it now.
I mean, I have no problem with it. But what are you proposing as the fix, like a policy or a tooling, or
so
so it's got to be documented somewhere. I mean, if you just want some labels, that's we can do that to start. But
yeah, I want to start with two caps for now, but then understand how we can extend it for more caps.
I
And
see.
one of the question for that will be uh, what the label will look like. So one idea is to use feature gate names, which are more descriptive and easily discoverable. Originally, I wanted to use cap issue ID, but then it comes to the second question I have for this group is I see more and more people reusing, like recreating the cap issue because they cannot edit the description of it. Oh yeah, thank you. Got it. So yeah, second issue on agenda is we see, like I see two caps today on Signal that was recreated because old issues was created by somebody else, and people cannot edit description of this issue. So the issue is recreated, and it has some side effects. For instance, ID that is being used for creating a folder for README is not the same as currently
Yeah.
tracked issue. Plus, there is some history that being lost, and I see people commenting on old issues and commenting on new issues, and it's really hard to track.
I think it's a bad idea. Like we should, so the people, somebody like I wonder if people with the right level of access to the repo should be able to edit the description. They probably can't. Editing the title you can do with /retitle, but editing the description, I think it's the owner or somebody with right access. So if we don't have to do that often, then we probably, your best bet is to just, talk to one of us with right access.
No, I have access myself, but some people don't, and they want to.
I see. Okay.
Push it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That seems to be a GitHub limitation. I don't know if there's a way to change the owner of an issue such that you can edit it, or it's like
I
if you
would
just
say
pick
though, as a
one.
SIG lead, I would go close out all the issues people have made that are duplicated and open up the original, so to force the numbers to stay the same.
Yep, I agree. And like
And
I think like I was helping with like two or three cases like that in the past. Like I think it makes it much more trackable if you do that.
So yeah,
you might be able
exactly.
to lock the duplicates too, so that way people can't use them anymore for discussion, to force the conversation into one place.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You can put just put a link back to the original issue and close it and lock it. But I think, Sergey, yeah, people are just going to have to, we just have to document somewhere that, hey, you need to talk to, I don't know where that list is, who has these permissions.
All of the leads, like basically like every lead tends to get
so there you go. So then, yeah, so they could just, if you need to change it, that, I mean, we don't have to change the description that often, right? Or we could, I mean, the only other option is to make some additional tooling, but I think that's probably overkill. Like, unless people are doing these edits all the time, that's probably too much work.
Is there any considerations of adding tooling that will read from cap YAML?
That's what I'm saying. We could do that, right? We could do that. We have, so we had, there is already like a CI job that reads the cap YAML and validates various things. We have a tool that we haven't updated, or really, since we got the tracking board, we haven't needed it, but we had a tool that we used to use to kind of read all the cap YAMLs and query them and stuff. And so there is some basis of code that you could do those kind of things. That's the idea of it being a YAML, right? Is that we can do that kind of tooling, but it's work. And I think, if it's not too hard for people to just edit the descriptions, or we could, I mean, it would be cool if you had a comment that just read the cap YAML, and it wouldn't have to be or in the main description, that just keeps that in sync. That would be great. Is that something you're interested in taking on? But the enhancements team would love to discuss it with you.
Okay. So
shouldn't be very hard.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, and sorry again for hijacking the meeting.
That's okay.
Find out good best practices here.
It's one of these. This is one of the things, like, where it's a closely related topic. Okay. I think that's it then. Is there anything else people wanted to discuss, or shadows are just going to jump in and start taking issues off the board. I'll make sure that your names are all. Oh, it's so slow.
I think one more thing we should do, and I didn't have time for that, is like go over the ones that were already coming from the previous cycles and check if some of those were already approved, or some of them are just moved because they didn't make the previous release. So I marked two of them that were in a situation like that, but I think there are more.
I mean, I think the person who is assigned to it, you went through and did the ones that were previously assigned. It's so slow.
But I only assigned, but I didn't check like which release we are targeting now and whether it isn't already approved for that release.
Right. So I mean, but won't we just do that as we go through each one? Like, you think there's a sweep we can do for that, or is it?
I don't have strong preference. Like we can do it one by one by going through them. It just
Yeah, I just figured
whatever.
I'm assigned to one. The first thing I look at is it one I've already approved, or is it one that got pushed and I don't know. Just seems like part of the processing, but
yeah, the only thing to keep in mind is that like if you as a shadow, if you are assigning to a number of PRs and then
I see.
really
Yes.
get back to it like a week later, then it may appear that like
yeah, okay, that's a good point. So maybe as a shadow, as you pick it up, take a look and see if it's already approved. We have a lot that we approved them in the previous cycle, and then they missed the deadline for actual delivery, and so then they just move it forward and there's no changes to the plan. It's just so if that's the case, you could just mark it approved and then put in the notes PRR notes like approved previous cycle or something like that. Okay, any questions? All right, well, let's get back some time and let's get to it. See you later.